This is my first session working with Pecos. I like to start all new horses with free lunging to get a good reference for how they move and carry themselves without any ropes or interference. I also do this to see what kind of attitude the horse has towards being asked to move his feet. Knowing if the horse is going to be hot or cold, aggressive or fearful are things I like to know before physically connecting myself to the animal. You'll see me start by pointing him off in the direction I want him to go. I give him a few seconds to respond to the point before adding a vocal cue in the form of clucking. I then wait another few seconds after the vocal cue before adding more pressure with my stick and string. If he responds, even with the slightest try, to the point, cluck, or stick and string, I immediately remove all pressure to let him know that was the right answer. When I am ready to bring him to a stop or change directions, I am going to do an exaggerated step up in front of his drive line and draw backwards to pull him towards me. But he did not turn in towards me here, so I quickly get back behind his drive line and send him out again. He let me know he had some feelings about that. I stepped in front of his drive line again here, and this time he turned in nicely. I then point him off to establish himself in the other direction. Another good turn in from him here. I then try to point him off the other direction, but he ignores me for a few seconds. I cluck to him and still no reaction, so I advance towards him and flag him with my stick until he steps off. We practice turning in and changing directions several times until Pecos is more responsive when I step out in front of his drive line, ask him to change directions, and to move out. We also make sure to get to all gates, so I ask him to hold a canter while maintaining the same level of responsiveness. This was an awesome turn-in from the canter, so I reward him with a big release of pressure by turning and walking away from him before letting him have a little rest, and then back to work. This time I stop him and ask him to stay square and keep 2 eyes on me while I move around. This exercise is yielding his hindquarters from a distance. He's not sure what I'm looking for at first, so I am very intentional about rewarding every try with a big release of pressure. I quickly turn my shoulders and walk away from him when he finds the right answer. I love how willing he is to follow me here, but that's not exactly what I am looking for. I don't want to overstimulate him, so I let him come towards me to investigate. However, the goal of still yielding his hind end does not change. Here he actually goes to walk away from me. So I try to catch his attention and turn him back to me, but he decides it's time to run around. It is okay for him to make this choice, but I make sure to apply pressure on his way out. I don't want him to find release by running away. I quickly stop him and repeat the yielding exercise. This time it goes much better and he stays focused on me. He's not confident in what I am asking, but here, with that lateral step, you can see him make the connection, so I immediately release the pressure. We repeat this several times on each side until he is yielding consistently. I do lose him a few times and he chooses to run out instead of stay connected and focused on me. Each time I let him run out, but I am intentionally quick to bring him back in and continue right where he left off. Getting Pecos good at yielding his hindquarters from a distance and squaring up to people when they approach him is what will make him easy to catch in open environments such as pastures. I never want to see my horse's heels or rear end because that means they're running away from me. I want the horse to be confident and look to me for guidance, cues, and leadership. Here I switch the exercise to following. I reach out my hand and invite him into my space. He understood what I was looking for, so I rewarded him with a nice scratch before asking him to follow me back to the camera. The next exercise I do with horses is to desensitize them to my tools. I don't want the horse to be afraid of anything that I am going to be using to communicate with him, such as the halter, the lead line, and my stick and string. If he is afraid of my tools, he is going to have a hard time focusing on the training session and learning from it. So the first thing I must do is teach him that he doesn't need to fear the tools that I'll be using. He jumped away from my stick and string the first time I tried to rub him with it. So my only goal for a few minutes will be to rub him all over and on both sides with the end of my stick. I will only move on after he has shown me that he is no longer afraid of it by standing calmly. I then transition to throwing the string up over his back and eventually his legs. He is frightened once I get to his back legs, and we spend some time working on this area until he understands that the string isn't going to hurt him. My goal for him is to stand calmly and with confidence while I touch him and throw the string all over his body. He runs away here, and it is important that I don't fight with him and try to hold him in place. I let him move his feet as much as he feels he needs to, but it's imperative that I don't stop what I was doing with the stick and string while he's running away. I want him to learn that running from it didn't make it go away. The only thing that makes it go away is actually standing still and calm. Here I switch to lightly whacking the ground with the stick and string. Same rules apply. I won't stop until he stands confidently and calmly while I make some energy around him. Now I will ask him to walk towards me while I use the stick and string to make some energy around him by whacking the ground on either side of him while he's walking towards me. This will help him gain confidence in the people who lead him into something that is scary, but be able to trust that we aren't going to put him in a situation where he could be hurt. He is a little too forward at times, so I have to back him up to ensure that there is enough space between him and I that I don't accidentally hit him with my arm.